What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the LD World. Today, we're going to talk about something that I would think majority of intercultural couples would face, which is the cultural shock of when you visit each other's home countries, or most likely home countries.
Yeah.
But you guys know what to do before we get started. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you, and turn on that notification bell so you can be alerted on when we post. And without further ado, let's get into the shocks.
Get right into it. You're gonna start with me.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Yes.
My first culture shock was how big and how long everything took in America. And obviously I come from Iceland where everything is so small. Everything my mom, for her to drive 15 minutes, you have to force her. She really needs to be doing something important.
Your parents.
That's how Icelandic people are.
They are not going to like driving around in
That's
Atlanta.
what I'm saying. So when I went to America, when I visited you, because that's the first time I had a car, to drive to places, it just takes forever.
Let me ask you this. Was that in Atlanta or was that in Orlando as well?
No, I didn't really feel it in Orlando. But it was more, that's why I said, it was more when I visited you. Okay. And I experienced being with a family in America. Okay. I feel like in Orlando I was more traveling and stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, I do understand the difference.
Yeah, when you travel to Iceland, obviously you
you're
about to drive.
Yeah, you're doing travel type activities.
Yeah,
so you know.
But just being with your family and when we needed to do stuff and going places, we could be driving an hour to go to church. Like that.
That happened.
It just depends on where the stuff is at, and most likely it's half an hour away, 45 minutes away, and that's driving to my summer house, and we only do that on specific occasion. Did you say that?
Yeah, specific occasion. That would be a big shock, because when I went to Iceland, everything was so close. That wasn't necessarily a shock for me, but I was even shocked when I lived in Georgia of how far things were.
Yeah.
So I know you coming from a country of 300,000 people.
Yeah.
I got that right.
Yeah.
300,000 people, you're like, where am I going on the other side of the island?
Yeah, you can't drive for 6-7 hours in Iceland, but it's just the normal things that you do on a daily basis, it's 5 minutes away.
So that's definitely something that I should have prepared you for before you came.
I don't think you
to
can
visit
prepare.
I could have been like, hey, anywhere we're gonna go, it's probably gonna be a long distance. So mine was, I never really traveled before I met you. So when I went to Iceland, going from the airport to your home, it was the most beautiful drive I have ever seen in my entire life. And you...
Not like trees in Georgia.
Yeah, it was, you see the mountains, you see the ocean, you see the black sand along the ocean.
People say that the area next to the airport is on the moon.
Yes,
it depends on when you arrive. In winter,
is that where they filmed the moon landing?
That was a good one.
I figured you would like that.
Yeah, people say that when you drive in Iceland, you see different sceneries. Every 15 minutes, it changes the mountain, and you see black sand. Then you see it looks like the moon, and then it's green. And
you couldn't prepare me for that, which I'm glad you didn't. But just being in that situation, it was just wow.
Yeah. This
place is beautiful. But something you could have prepared me for was how cold it was. I know it's called Iceland. I get that. I understand. But you didn't tell me what to pack. You didn't tell me how much to pack. You didn't tell me to pack for just being freezing cold.
I don't think you had the clothes to pack for Iceland, because
I could have bought the clothes.
You had to borrow my dad's jacket.
Yes.
I don't think you had the clothes, so it's...
You specifically told me, you're don't bring a jacket, we have one here for you, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you prepared me for, but I could have went to Walmart and got some long underwear.
Walmart, you think they had the quality to keep you warm in Iceland?
Walmart got good stuff.
Okay.
Anyways, I could have went there to got some long underwear. I could have just prepared myself, got some beanies, a face mask, maybe some of those ski goggles.
My parents now gave you thermal underwear so you can bring that next time.
Yes, which I wear every day here. But you didn't prepare me for that.
The thing is, for me, it's not that cold. The temperature isn't that cold. When the wind is, yes, it feels freezing cold. But I'm gonna explain something. When you went on that walk with my mom, that was one of the coldest days in Iceland. Like, you're very unlucky.
To you, it was one of the coldest
No,
days.
it was
Every
really.
day was the coldest day for me.
It was like -10 Celsius, not Fahrenheit. And it's not that cold. Like, it gets so much colder in Chicago and Minnesota and stuff. So
I believe it.
But it's the wind. It's the wind. And he was on a walk with my mom.
We've explained the story 100 times.
He had a scarf. He had a beanie. And you could only see his eyes. And he was still...
Because I was trying to wrap my head up.
And at the beginning we walked around my hometown. At the beginning, when we hadn't even started, you were like, we're really going to do this.
Yeah.
My
and
mom
I did
was
the
like,
whole walk.
Yeah, let's go.
The only reason why I did the whole walk is because I literally hit the point of no return. I was like, it's going to be faster for me to finish this walk than it is for me to turn back.
Yeah.
But whenever you're in an intercultural relationship, know where your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, know where they're coming from and ask them to prepare you for what to wear.
The second one for me is a little deeper. It's not as light and fun.
Okay, let's hear it.
I found it very difficult to know what was appropriate and what wasn't when I first met your family. Just in general, like with anything, like I just didn't know
whether to call them by their first name or last name.
If I should clean the dishes when I'm done, if I should put it back, if I should take your plates. If there's so many things where I was like, I don't know how to act. And I don't feel like I should, I don't know, I couldn't ask these things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just found it very difficult to...
I did a horrible job of preparing you for that.
You were like, don't do this, don't do that. No, oh God.
I do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I found it very difficult to, know what to... I would have liked you to tell me a few things before. So I think that's my advice.
And I should have prepared you for that, which in preparing you for that, there was really nothing to prepare you for. I should have just been like, hey, be yourself, everything's fine. You get what I mean?
And it's more like, I agree with that. It should have been like that. And then if I had any like, oh, should I do this or that? I should have come to you and be like, hey, babe, like, is this? And you tell me.
I felt the same exact way in your house. I'd be thirsty in the middle of the night and I didn't even want to go get water because I'm going to wake everybody up. And Dude would be like,
my mom is
boy,
already awake. Getting water for her, running the water.
Dude would be like, boy, if you don't go get some water. So I would tiptoe out there to go get some water and then go back in the room. Or I didn't know whether I should clean dishes. Same thing you were going through. These are conversations that...
I also... Sorry, you can finish.
I'm going to forget.
I remember when we were eating, like, my family doesn't eat around one table. And you were like, should I take my plate in the living room?
Yeah.
Like, we were eating, like, so they usually watch the news while they eat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just very, like, all over the place, and you thought we were like, oh, we sit down by the table when we eat.
So it's just best to sit there and have those conversations of like, it's not necessarily rules and guidelines.
Yeah, you don't want to give your partner a list to follow.
But it's just like, hey, I'm gonna
I guess like
guide you through. This is the way that we do things, just so you know.
You can explain, I feel like, how you do things, but don't expect your partner to like do everything the same.
Exactly. On that same line, I think it's best for each individual to have the conversation with, let's say if you're going to visit each other's family, to have the conversation with their parents alone. So for example, you could have the conversation, be like, hey, Lance is like this. So that way they know that, oh, he's not being shy or being rude or being, he just does things differently.
One thing I found very helpful is me having the conversation with your parents. For them to get to know me, like, it helped me a lot to be able to explain to them, like, I am used to doing this in Iceland, so it's some of the things that are done here, I'm not used to that. So it helped me, like, be able to tell them why there are certain things that I do or don't, and they talk to me back and they understood, and I feel like that helped a lot.
So it's kind of the same thing. The same way that you have the conversation with your spouse to get to know each other, that person needs to have the conversation with each other's parents.
Especially if there is something that you really feel either uncomfortable or you don't know like what to do. Sometimes it's just best to sit down with them and just explain how you feel.
But that brings me into my next topic, the language barrier. So yes, you know English, you can have those conversations. I don't know Icelandic.
Why not?
So having those conversations are a little bit more challenging for me.
Because even though my mom speaks English, my dad isn't. He's still learning.
Mm-hmm. So there might need to be somebody. There might need to be a middleman, depending on where you're coming from, to be able to translate what that person is saying. But you can still, don't let that stop you from getting to know each other's families. But that was a culture shock for me. I thought the way that you knew English, because you told me, you're like, yeah, we're taught English from a very young age. So when I went to Iceland, I was like, everybody's gonna know English.
Most people do.
But I didn't meet most people.
You met my family.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
not everyone.
not everybody in their family knew English, so I had to kind of, when they're having conversations in Icelandic, I'm just kind of sitting down there playing on my phone.
It is also kind of difficult for me to. My language is Icelandic, and sometimes
it's
just
difficult.
Sometimes it just changes especially when I'm in Iceland, and even though he's there, sometimes we switch to Icelandic without even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in there, and I'm like, dang it.
But I noticed that because when I went to Belgium as well to visit friends, my friends used to also be like, oh, hey guys, speak English. Lance is here. So it's just a natural thing for people to speak their own language
without even realizing it.
So you just gotta either learn the language or be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. My third was the same thing. Is not necessarily the language, even though for me, like, sometimes it gets tiring, obviously, to be speaking your second language.
That's how I feel when I'm talking Spanish all the time.
Babe, you speak your language every single day. I had to speak English. But I was gonna say, it does sometimes get, like, I don't want to say tiring, but still tiring to be around people that don't speak your first language.
Mm-hmm.
And also, on top of that, you have different accents.
Yeah.
Your dad has a very strong accent. And
the
first time when I met him, obviously I can understand what he says, and sometimes he was speaking like with his head because he knew. But I'm like listening to people in my second language and trying to understand their accent. It's a lot. So sometimes I'm just like still looking when they have finished their sentence.
And yes.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
I'm learning that same struggle by living in another country. When Spanish people are speaking to me in English, even though it's in English, I have to listen harder because it's not the same English that I'm used to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the words bounce around.
You do that with me, babe.
And even then, it's still challenging. So it's just one of those things that if you don't learn the language or the culture, you do have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and just kind of go with the flow. Still be yourself and be positive and be happy.
It's like two kids that speak the two different languages, but for some reason they can play together.
You know, that's the most intelligent analogy I have ever heard her say in my entire life.
Oh, you like it?
Yes, I like it. That was very good.
It's true.
That was very good.
Two kids.
I didn't even know you had it in you.
They will play with each other even though they have no idea what they're saying.
That's very true.
It doesn't stop them from doing it. In America, I feel like everyone knows this, but it was a shock to me that you put so much into like your holidays and your Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day. Like every time I came over to your mom's house, everything was decorated in the season. Like she had winter, like fall, Christmas, like everything is decorated. And obviously I'm just speaking for like your family. Mm-hmm.
But it's not just, and I agree with you, it's not just my family, it's everywhere. And I didn't notice it until I came and lived here. I was like, we do put so much work. Like in Americans, we put so much work
in the stores. In the stores, in January, you see just Valentine's Day, like boxes.
And for 4th of July, everybody's decorating for 4th of July. For I don't even know holidays anymore, but Easter, we do put so much into.
Yeah, you do.
It's crazy.
The thing is, like, for most cultures or countries, a lot of people put that much effort into Christmas. But you do for every single season, holiday, like.
Yeah, we do that.
You just
And
see,
I think,
like, when you walk into the stores, you see what season it is.
yeah. And there's no way I could have prepared you for that because I thought it was normal.
I love it.
I don't.
It's expensive, but I love it.
So I felt like you could have done a better job preparing me for how expensive it was in Iceland, or it is in Iceland.
But if you haven't seen the fast food video from Iceland, go check it out. When I tell him the price, everyone is commenting like, oh my god, look at his face when you told him the price.
The reason why I felt like I could have been prepared better is because I would have brought more money. I went there to go on a vacation, and you know, on vacation you like to eat out, you want to try all the country cuisines, or however you say it. When you go to Iceland, you don't do that. Like, I had no problem, and I like this, I had no problem staying home and eating, but I went into it with the expectation of as if I was visiting Spain and be like, oh, let's try all the Icelandic food and all this stuff. And I'm like, one, they didn't have Icelandic food, but two, you don't really want to eat out because it's gonna affect the bank.
I was just gonna say that it's really not a thing in Iceland to eat out. People do it obviously, but it's like once a month type of thing. Like I don't remember the last time my parents went out to eat. Like it's just not.
I wanted to eat out every night. But when we did eat out we ate out at the fast food and we went to another burger place, and at that point I was like, we gotta slow down on eating out. Let's stay home and eat. So if you are going to Iceland, bring some money. Yeah. Bring some money, because I wasn't prepared for it, so I'm preparing you for it just in case.
Yeah. Do you know, I could have prepared you for that.
You could have.
I think I told you that it was expensive, but it just didn't like register like how expensive it was.
Well, you can't just sit here and be like, yeah, it's expensive. You don't be like, yeah, when you go to Iceland's McDonald's and pay 30, babe.
It was 30.
It was 30?
13.
Damn.
That would be cheap.
It was 30.
That's like
30 for a burger and fries. And I'm not talking about the double cheeseburger either.
No, we paid 30 for it, yeah. I found it very difficult to find the balance of enjoying your culture, enjoying everything, how you guys do things, but still be myself. I found that very challenging. Probably the most challenging part about the whole thing was just because I wanted to be myself, but at the same time I sometimes felt like me being myself would be considered like one way or another because of way things are done.
Yeah, I guess because everything is just so different.
Yeah.
You didn't know how to navigate it.
Yeah. So I was like trying to figure out like, okay, I have to be respectful and I have to like know how things are done here, but also I can't like change who I am.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
and I guess that's what's different about intercultural relationships. Let's talk about if you have a relationship within your hometown or your own city. You get an opportunity to meet each other's families and meet each other's people and grow and learn and develop the relationship over time. Intercultural relationships, you're coming from a whole new culture. You only get one time, for the most part. One time a year for the most part, to meet that person's family, and you have to navigate, okay, how do I, for lack of a better word, impress these people and get to know these people, but still try to be myself, but still not try to be myself, but still, so you have to find that balance of, I don't want to be a false self, but I also am just meeting these people for the first time and learning so many things that I've never known before.
Yeah. And it obviously depends on like which cultures, because I feel like some cultures have a lot of like traditions and things like how things are done, and but I feel like there's always something. There's always something obviously that But I think it's important at the end of the day that you try to be yourself as much as possible. Yeah. If there's something that you feel uncomfortable or you don't know, like sometimes it's just best to like sit down and have a talk
and ask
about like how you feel, and like even with the parents, like just have a conversation so everyone can understand, even though they might disagree or agree, it doesn't matter. At least they hear your side and they will understand more than just not having a conversation at all.
Very true. We know that we see a lot of people in the comment sections are in relationships where they're so far apart and there's so much going on. So when you bring these cultures together, make sure it's not just a quick introduction. You think it's going to be the same as it is with somebody in your same culture. But use that time to get to know each other, to ask questions, to explore that other person and their families, and just grow together.
Yeah.
Grow together.
That was it for this video, guys. Let us know what culture shocks you've experienced. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, all that, and we'll see you guys in a few days.
Yes. See you later, dudes.
I discovered something new as we played on chalked lines. Remember that time